This is the homily for Sunday, February 18th, the first Sunday of Lent. Once I was hearing first confessions, and a little boy said, "I threw a stone at my classmate Bobby." "That was a very misguided thing to do," I said to the boy, who responded, "No, Father, it wasn't misguided at all. I hit him right on the head where I was aiming." Temptation is a part of being human. We are all tempted at some time to hit someone on the head. Lent is a time to be a little more reflective about our lives and how we are or are not growing in holiness. The original meaning of the word Lent was springtime, as it is used even today in Dutch, de lente, a first cousin language to English. And before it became the word for spring, it meant lengthening. So it probably referred to the lengthening of daylight in the northern hemisphere as we move through these months after winter. It is appropriate because spring is a time of new birth, and in Lent, we are looking for new birth in our spiritual lives. Mark is the shortest gospel with only 16 chapters. All the rest are in the 20s, and Matthew's 27 is the longest. Mark also abbreviates some things, as we see with the temptation of Christ. While Matthew and Luke go into detail about Jesus' 3 temptations, Mark simply says he was driven into the desert for 40 days and tempted by Satan. Jesus, as a human being, had to resist temptation. And Mark shows us that Jesus beat Satan's temptation, the temptation to focus on himself and become a powerful leader, by having Jesus immediately start his ministry of bringing Christ's love to the people, driving out evil that affected them. In other words, it was about the needs of people, not about Jesus himself. We are called in Lent to a conversion. Actually, the word is metanoia, and it literally means to come to one's senses, to go in a new direction. That is what happened to Jesus. He discerned what his life was to be about, what direction to take. There are 3 disciplines we're called to in Lent to help us with our metanoia: fasting, giving alms, and praying. Why these 3? The purpose of fasting is to help us learn to discipline ourselves so that we can control our natural urges, whether they be of the body, eating, drinking, or sex, or the spirit, anger, pride, jealousy, and so on. In this day and age, I would underscore the tendency to speak badly of others, including on social media. Almsgiving. The purpose is to help us overcome our tendency to be self-centered, selfish, to think only of ourselves. Our tendency is always to want more, no matter how much we have. This discipline helps us to share. Here at Pius, we have the Living Waters campaign during Lent, asking us to help other people simply have convenient, safe drinking water. And finally, prayer. Discipline and sharing are very, very hard for us as human beings because of the way we are wired. We need the help of the Lord to be able to live our lives as Jesus lived his. And so we are asked to strengthen our relationship with the Lord through prayer and quiet time. I had to smile to myself at something Pope Francis once said when he was in a parish in Rome. Do I let Jesus preach to me, help me, or do I know everything? To let Jesus preach to us, we have to be quiet now and then. There are two resources we have to help us be reflective. First, if you have not yet done so, pick up the little black book for Lent in the back of church and use it for daily reflections. Second, you might remember that a couple years ago we used the post-game review, a guide based on the Examen of St. Ignatius, to help us review our day before going to sleep. There are copies of that guide on the table in the vestibule by the center doors. If you don't have one, please feel free to take one and try getting into the habit of reviewing your day before going to sleep. And of course, all of this has the final goal of helping us bring the love of Jesus and his healing to all we meet, just as Jesus did in his own life. So the reflection I invite us to this week: what do I need most in my spiritual life right now? Do I need to spend more time with the Lord? Do I need more control over my appetites and emotions? Do I need to think more of others? Do I need to stop gossiping about someone? Do I need to forgive someone? When I celebrate the Lord's resurrection on Holy Saturday evening, what one change would I like to see in my life? How can I make that change happen? What concrete plan can I use? And let us promise to support each other in prayer as we struggle to grow to be better disciples. God bless.